Hey, what is up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. Before we get to the main topic of the video, I want to start off with a very eerie and quite frankly frightening clip that was just uploaded to YouTube by a guy out of France who captured what can only be described as one of the scariest sounds I've ever heard emanating from the skies. So check this out and we'll talk more in just a second.
C'est quoi ça? C'est ouf. Mon Dieu, c'est ouf. Putain.
Alright, so, I mean, that's a really scary sound. There's very little info about this because it was just uploaded by a YouTube channel that doesn't have very many videos. It looks as if the YouTube channel was created just to post the video, but I received an email from a separate viewer who stumbled across it. I checked it out and it was posted to a YouTube channel called Adrian Grand Catholic. And I further asked him, did the sound scare him? Has he heard it since? He replied that yes, it was very scary. He said that he heard the noise at around 4:30 p.m., was out with one of his friends in France, as I said earlier. And what is so creepy about this is, as the video first starts, you can hear this thing, and it's like directly above these two kids. And you can hear it gradually moving further and further away. The sound or roar of whatever this sound's coming from getting more faint as it moves away from the general location of the recorder. And whatever's creating the sound, it has the capability of moving. And yeah, it's just a crazy clip, and I wanted to see if anyone else has heard this before. These phantom sounds we've spoken about many times on the channel. There have been countless videos posted online. When this very first started and people started uploading videos of these things back in, 2007, maybe earlier, it really did cause quite a stir. And these sounds of what sounded like machinery, something very large, we'll just say, moving overhead, it was featured everywhere. It was one of the top conspiracy theories online. And then after that, we saw sort of this explosion of faked videos hitting the web at the time. I maintain that it was part of a disinformation campaign, because it started out with the original real videos and recordings of these sounds, and then almost immediately we witnessed these fakes start hitting the web and hitting YouTube that were coming from some very suspicious sources. And this is what happens. I've seen it in the UFO community. Whenever you post something legitimate, one of the easiest ways, I mean, it's at the top of the disinformation playbook, is to flood the internet or the source matter with disinformation, whether that be fakes or inaccurate data, what have you. You muddy the waters. And so we're definitely starting to see these sound recordings pick back up. And I get a ton of emails from people all the time, even people who haven't recorded the sounds, but have just emailed me to say, we are hearing some strange stuff, and I want you to know about it. So if you've heard something similar, let me know down below. And big thanks to Adrian for uploading this video and allowing us to share it today. So on to the main topic of today's video, what I can only describe as a tank-like object discovered on the moon, scattered amongst what appear to be ruins of some sort, or what look like ruins. Now, of course, the moon is covered with rocks, but when I saw this here, and you're seeing the original, and we're zooming in, this definitely made my ears perk up. And it was discovered by Scott Waring over at UFO Sightings Daily. And as we get close enough to this object here, which very well could be just an oddly shaped boulder or something like that, I want you guys just to notice the artificial nature of it. You know, it's got this rectangular shape. The reason I said it looks kind of like a tank is because if you look at an actual tank from a bird's eye view, you'll see the tank, you'll see the turret on top, and this exhibits some very similar features to the tanks that we see on Earth. So my question is, if this is a tank, obviously it would be ancient, which would explain the weathering on this thing. And of course, it could be something else. It may not be a tank. I'm just using that for context. And so this could be something else. We've definitely do not have a shortage of obvious artificial structures that have been found on the moon, which is why I am so comfortable investigating certain anomalous-looking structures on the moon like this one, because I know that there's a very good chance that what we could be looking at is indeed some sort of ancient structure, and just to brush it off and not even take a look at it, I believe is doing a disservice to this research and to the fact that we know that these artificial structures are on the moon to the point where there's too many to count. But go back into our older videos and you'll see just what we've found here. But there's also some other anomalous ruins, I guess you could say, scattered throughout this photo. And I'll put the link to this down in the video description. But I'm just showing you some of the other things here that really do kind of stand out. They look like pieces of scrap metal scattered across the moon's surface here. And a lot of this stuff looks like just partially buried artificial stuff. You know, machinery, what have you. Here we have a strange object that has some right angles on it. Has something that looks to be protruding from the top of it and is casting a shadow down on it. That is very interesting. There is what appears to be a large disc-shaped object here on the other side of the pic, so we'll go over there. Okay, and here we are, and it's actually just at the edge of the frame, so part of it looks to be cut out. But again, I want you to see this almost metallic-like surface texture that is highly reflective, and you can clearly see the sun hitting it to the point where you can't even make out the surface. That's how reflective this thing is. And you can see here, there's actually a shadow on the side of this thing. So whatever this object is, it seems to be raised up off the ground to the point where it's casting a shadow off to the left. And again, appears to have something sitting on top of it that almost to me looks like it's been blurred out a little bit. If you look at the object here where I'm circling and look at the rest of the object and the surrounding terrain, this looks like it's had some blurring put to it. But again, that's just speculating on my part. I will let you guys check out the image yourself, but yeah, there's a lot of strange and artificial looking things in this image. And, you know, as far as the tank idea goes, look, we have discovered sets of tracks on the moon. And no, I'm not talking about boulder tracks. For those of you who don't know, when a boulder or an asteroid really hits the moon, it will most times skip across the moon, leaving a sort of muddied set of tracks behind it. One track, that is. But besides those, we have identified legitimate sets of tracks on the moon. I'm talking about double tracks, like the kind you would get from a vehicle with 4 wheels or 2 wheels or a tank or whatever you want to call it. And you're seeing those images here. And look how perfectly straight these things are, and how they move across the surface of the moon, going down into craters, coming back out. Completely different from the tracks that you would see from an asteroid or rock or something like that. Completely different. This is from a vehicle of some sort. And these things just stretch across the moon. You can see in this image, they're going down this hill. I mean, it's smoking gun evidence. These are vehicle tracks, and I remind you, tracks that are found far away from any of the Apollo moon landing sites. Alright, so whatever these are, they're not from us. And if they are from us, we were not told about it. So let me know what you guys think about this strange tank-like object. And before we go today, I just want to give a special thanks to a couple of viewers, a husband and wife who go by the name of Greg and Allison, who of course are big fans of the channel, recently became monthly supporters on our official Patreon page, and are from Scotland. And so the other day I received a package from them out of nowhere. I had no idea that they were sending it. And once opened, found that they had sent me a treasure trove of goodies and snacks and candies that you can only find in Scotland. And they even included some really cool postcards of Edinburgh. And so I thought that that was really thoughtful. And there's so much cool stuff here. But big thanks to Greg and Allison. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you guys for continuing to be the most awesome fans on YouTube and the world for that matter. So thanks for stopping by. Be sure to like and share this video. Let's get a dialogue going, and I will see you all back in just a bit.